I always forget about that trip because it was so it's still my favorite trip. And yeah, it's a long story. I'll try and make it short. Okay. So I was working in Australia. I got a job on a broccoli farm in Tasmania down in the south. So basically I was selling, no, I was chopping broccoli. I was cutting it, farming it, harvesting it, and actually I was living in a tent, and I was living very cheaply. And every week they were paying me about between $1,000 and $1,500. So if I'm not spending any money and I'm living in a tent, every week I was spending about $60 to $70. So all that money was mine. So after doing that for about 2 or 3 months, I went to check my bank account. I hadn't been to the bank for about 3 months. And I was shocked because I had loads of money that I'd never had before. And it was just around that time that me and two of my mates had got lost driving, and we ended up at the Australian Antarctic Centre that helped us find the directions or something. And I was like, hold on, Australian Antarctic Centre. Oh yeah, because the furthest south island of Tasmania, if you keep going, is Antarctica. You're there. So I sat with two mates having a beer one night on the south coast of Tasmania, just staring out to sea, watching the sunset. And I said to those two guys, I'm going to work on those broccoli farms, and I'm just going to spend all that money on a trip to just go to Antarctica. And they probably laughed. We all laughed, and nobody thought I would do it. But 6 months later, I had the money, and I had enough money to take time off work. I think I took 6 months off at that point. It was the longest break I've had off work. But when I say off work, I was blogging and writing while I was on that trip. So I booked a trip and I got a bargain. At the time, it was a real bargain. It was 5,000 Australian dollars for a 13-day tour of Antarctica. You can't get that. You can't get that anymore. It's the price is dear now. It's gone up. And when I got on the boat, so the boat, I had to get to Argentina on that trip. So when I got on the boat, it was 130 people. And they were all brilliant people, big travelers, all stories. So the 13 days was only 9 of it is in Antarctica, because you got 2 days to get there and 2 days to get back. And those 2 days to get there are not boring. Like, you're just looking out at sea. But the stories we share on the boat, the writing I got done, I had my laptop, I was just writing. There's no internet, of course, which is brilliant because you can just do all your writing. And of course, I had a sleep. I thought I'll catch up on some sleep. I need a bit of sleep in life. Haven't had enough sleep. And then you wake up with the sunrise, and then we're told, yeah, today we're landing in Antarctica. I mean, it's a dream place. It is a dream destination. It's beautiful. It's unbelievable. And I don't need to go back because I've seen it. I've seen it with my eyes and with my feet and my hands. I've dived in the snow and been with the penguins and got my passport stamped in Antarctica. So all of that is absolutely beautiful. It's the best trip I've done, and I recommend it.
Can you get off the boat?
Well, of course. I was off the boat. It's for 9 days. Every day you get off. I was swimming in Antarctica.
Where do you sleep? On the boat?
You sleep on the boat. You sleep on the boat. So like, this is what happens. Generally, Vitor, this is what happens. The boat goes from Argentina, and then it anchors off an island in Antarctica. Then you get off the boat, you go and see that island. We did a hike to the top of the mountain at Couvreville. So we did, I think in those 13 days, I visited the land of Antarctica probably 10 times, because some days you have 2 landings. Some days you land at 9 a.m. on the land, you have a walk, you go to the post office. Because, there's a museum in Antarctica, there's a post office. Obviously, the capital city, McMurdo, is massive. It's, 1,000 people live there. And then you've got the penguins, the Polish. I went to the Polish base, which is awesome. I mean, they've even got a bar there, and they've got like a research unit, Chilean base. So, Antarctica, I wouldn't have gone on the trip if I don't land there, Victor. There's no way I would pay 5,000 just to see it from a window. No chance. Yeah. And I was lucky because my trip had about 10 landings. I've met people that went to Antarctica, got off the boat once and saw it. but we
Yeah.
saw about 10 different
That's what
parts.
I heard. That's like it's mostly from the window and
Oh, I would
and then
never
to the
do that
front.
then. No, that's
Yeah.
not my style. I'd rather stay at home and watch it on YouTube than
Yeah.
waste 5,000 on that. So that's interesting. If you do look at my blog, which is Don't Stop Living, I've written about 30 articles in Antarctica, and some of them I wrote on the boat, and they're really not good because I haven't edited them. I was just like writing them at the time, and then we're called, oh hey, we need to go to the land because we've just arrived on this Antarctic coast. Let's go. So I have to close the laptop, save the document, put my clothes on because Antarctica still is cold. You need to put your proper, because on the boat you're shorts and t-shirt, and then you got to get ready to go. And yeah, it's mega. It's just mega. I think my favorite place in Antarctica where we went to was Deception Island. It's very like a James Bond movie or something. The boat goes through a really narrow passage, and you look on the right and on the left, and you're almost hitting the island, and you have to go through it. And then the captain parks the boat, like anchors the boat in the middle, and it's a whaling station. You hike up a hill, and then you can swim there because they say the reason you go swimming there is because it's the warmer water because it's an old volcano. So we all went in to swim. It's not warmer, but it's you have to say you swam in Antarctica, so it's called a polar plunge. I mean, that was great crack.